Hello out there, and before we get started with today's knife collection video part 1, I want to do a quick shout out and congratulations to my buddy Moose over at Moose's Gear Guru Review. His channel just hit 500 subs and he's doing a giveaway. I'm going to link to it down below. Definitely go over there and check him out. What I really like about his channel and his knife reviews is that even though we have a very similar taste in knives, he sort of has a different capacity that he uses them for, and more of like a outdoorsman and hiking and backpacking kind of a setting. And so his insight into a specific model that maybe I already own is going to be a little bit different from mine. So it's always cool to watch his videos and see what he is going to come up with. All right, so check him out down below. But today, what we are going to be doing is going through the first half of my knife collection. And a collection video is something that probably gets asked of me more than any other kind of viewer request. And so now seemed like a really good time, since I just sold off a whole bunch of knives and sort of trying to trim things down and see what else could be trimmed down. This is a good opportunity to do all that, and also just go through the knives and do some cleaning and inspecting and see what kind of condition everything's in. And so today is going to be all about the Spydercos, it's going to be the Kershaws, and then a few odds and ends. And then in a week or so, when a bunch of my Benchmades that are out on loan or at Life Sharp come back to me, I'll do the Benchmade CRKTs and the rest of the odds and ends. All right, so let's just get started with what's on the table. I'm going to try to go through this stuff pretty quickly. Any questions that you have, anything you want to see more of, let me know. But let's just go with what is on the table right now. We have the Spyderco Dragonfly in H1. So this is the salt version. And this one and the Man Bug right here in H1. I only ever use these knives when I go to the beach or when I'm in that kind of situation. So these are like really kept for just humid or salt water kind of carry, like in bathing suits, stuff like that. All right, and then here we have the Spyderco Cricket. This Cricket has been modified. You can see the acid etch and the ano work. I really like the way it came out, so this one is sort of sticking with me for now. Pretty cool little knife too. And then we have the Spyderco Spin in the Nishijan glass fiber. Very cool little gents piece. This one is in VG10, and actually the Cricket is as well. So let's get these out of the way. I'm going to try to do like 2 or 3 at a time. So here we have the Spyderco Cali 3 in HAP 40. This is a sprint run. I actually had one of these knives last year, and I'd never held a Cali before, and when I got this one in hand, I thought it was amazing, and I knew I had to get one for myself. You know, I served as a middleman in a transaction and knew I had to have one of my own. And yeah, I just think it's extremely attractive, and I looked into all the Calis, and I think that this green G10 is the best looking handle scale that they have on any of them. And yeah, it just seems like a really neat knife, and happy to have it back with me. Here's the Mantra. This is an M4. Like this knife a lot, but I am very excited for the compression lock version in S30V and carbon fiber that is coming out later this year. All right, so we'll move those. Next, we'll go with the Ambitious and the Persistence, 2 of the budget line. The value folders in 8CR13 MOV. Both of these you can see are modded. The scales here on the Ambitious are from Quinn Carve Designs, so you can check them out on Instagram. Very cool scales. And then the Persistence is one that doesn't get a lot of pocket time. It has like this moon glow backspacer. Yeah, I still really like this knife, but just never really ends up getting used. But one of my earliest mods, so it's not really going to go anywhere. Next, we have the Pingo. This is another modified knife. This is modified by the great Nick Maffei. Really nice addition to the collection. I've only got a few slip joints, and all of them are in my collection for a reason, and this is certainly the case. N6 90 or 80 on this one, 90. So yeah, pretty good corrosion resistant steel on it. Good looking knife overall. Thumb studs were added too, so that is cool. And here's the little Native. This is the compression lock version. A back lock version should be coming soon, so that'll be interesting. I really want to compare this knife and do like a follow-up video comparing it to a regular Native, but my regular Natives are sort of MIA and haven't gotten them back. So when that happens, I will do a video comparing the two and just giving you a look at them next to each other. I'm sure that video exists in a number of places already, but I sort of want to do one too. And next we have the Sliverax. And the Sliverax, one of my favorite knives of 2017, just a very cool and ergonomic knife. Nice blade shape, like a negative blade angle here, so just very good in all kinds of applications, even though it's a classy looking knife. S30V, yeah, definitely a good one to have. And then another real winner is the Domino. And guys, still, this one might be my favorite Spyderco. Still might be. Bummer that it's been discontinued. Just an excellent knife all across the board. Titanium frame lock, a lock bar insert, CTS XHP, excellent steel, great scale, multiple grip configurations that are very ergonomic. So yeah, this one gets the highest marks for me. And yeah, if you can find one and don't have one, I highly recommend it. So next, let's get into the Chaparral, the Raffir Noble. This is a great knife, and I did have the FRN version of the Chaparral too, and I sort of moved on from that because I didn't need two, and I couldn't get rid of this one because it's so unique. And what's unique about this, you know, the handle scales are so are so unusual, and what surprises me is that every time in the knife community or in any kind of like production and marketing, anytime something works, it just tends to get overdone. And I haven't seen any other production knife like try to replicate these scales yet. So this is still a very unique thing in the marketplace. This Raffir Noble handle material just has that really nice 3D look, see-through, but all that like levitating kind of material in there. Very neat. All right, next we have the Delica and the Endura. Not the Endura, the Delica and the Centofonte 3. Good try. The Delica here is in S30V, and this is one that I modded. This was originally the Zome pattern, and I dyed it blue, and then we have all of the hardware is like bronzed out, so you can see that. One thing, since I have this knife out and about, that you'll be able to tell is right here on top, you can see that the anode just got worn down, and that's going to happen in use. So anytime you anodize something, especially with heat, and it'll wear, you know, it'll rub off, and so that finish is a little bit fragile. So it's something with this lock bar where it's sort of going to go away, and that's why even if the heat wasn't going to be an issue on a knife, I generally wouldn't want to anodize a blade. The Centofonte 3 here is still a big favorite of mine. My wife got this one for me a long time ago, so this one is never leaving my collection. I love this knife. Still probably my favorite lightweight EDC knife too. Just an excellent blade shape. Great jimping, and yeah, big fan of this one. That one is in VG10. All right, here we have the Sages. We have the Sage 5 and the Sage 2. You might see that the 5 is just a little bit longer in blade length than the 2, and that shouldn't be the case, but what happened was I got this 2 at a very great discounted rate because it was messed up, and my buddy Nick Maffei was nice enough to clean up the blade, and it did shorten the blade just a little bit, but he got the chip out that was in there and made it look like it's like brand new again, but just a little bit shorter. So we have the compression lock version up here, titanium frame lock. Both of these are in S30V. And then finally, to finish the Spydercos, we have the Para 3. This is my only Para 3 right now. I actually have another one on the way, which I'm really excited about, and I'll be getting on camera soon. But this is the S110V version, Blurple, which is probably my favorite color in my life. And so, yeah, this is about as good as it gets when it comes to Spydercos, in my opinion. I love this knife. Everything about this knife. All right, and so that ends the Spydercos, and I'm going to jump into my only real steel knife that I have, and this is the E775. This one came from my buddy Fun with Knives. He sent this one to me. I did a little bit of modifying, just like polishing and touching it up, and it worked out really well. And this knife is super smooth. And there we go. Yeah, it spider flicks. It like free drops. Excellent button lock. Still locks up real strong. And so, yeah, this is the only real steel that I currently have, but I'm extremely impressed with it. And then I do have a few rake knives. Let's talk about those, and then we'll get into the Kershaws. I'm going to have to flip these over to remember what the model numbers are in all of them. But this one down here was modified. You can see that, the bronzing and everything. This is the P831. Cool little knife, more of a gents carry, but it is a very attractive blade, I'll say that. And the mods that I did, they were fun to do, and I'm okay with the results, so there's that. These two knives, though, are complete home runs. The Rake Fang, which is below, was one of my favorite knives of 2017. Just awesome, awesome design. Very high quality machining, G10. Smooth knife. This is the P105, as you can see there. And yeah, Sandvik steel. Just good quality stuff here. And it doesn't get carried very much because it's just too big. And then this knife came out and sort of solved that problem for me. And this rake was one of those knives that was an option in the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. And this is the P841, and this knife is amazing. This knife has been a mainstay in my carry for the past few weeks. Review on this is coming soon. Just an awesome knife. Really smooth. Same deal as the Fang, but a smaller package. Very good quality there. All right, and now let's get into the Kershaws that I currently own. Starting with right here, the AM4. This is the newest acquisition that I got. This one came from Peach Jackson, a really good viewer, good contributor to the channel, and a good friend to have, to be honest with you. Just a really nice person across the board. And yeah, she sent me a couple knives to be modded, and I'm working on those. But she also sent me this just to keep, and this is a knife that I've been interested in, an 8CR13 MOV Almar design, one of the most attractive knives that I'd say is in my collection. It's just a beautiful looking knife. It's not a perfect knife, but man, it is sure good looking. So yeah, very cool piece right there. And let's get into the leaks. 1, 2, and 3 is coming. I do still have like the store display not sharpened leak, but I'm not going to bring that out. It's just the same as a regular 1660. But what we have here is the first ever leak that I got, my first ever USA made Kershaw, and this one was like my EDC for a long time, and everything about it just held up. You can see maybe like you can see some like lines in the bead blast, and some of the writing is just fading a little bit, but overall this knife still looks excellent after a lot of years and a lot of use. So very cool blade. I like that one a lot. And then down here in S30V we have a random leak, and this one I slightly modified, just like stonewash, polished a little bit here and there. So this is a cool one to have. And then here's my first ever tiger stripe acid etch. Probably still one of the best etches I've ever done. And yeah, this one's just a regular leak, but one that I'm pretty proud of, and so this one stays in my collection. Cool knife there. All right. Next, let's move on to the Frank Centofonte and Ken Onion design right here. So this is a blemished model, as you can see. This is one that I just found on eBay and had to pick up because it was so weird how it was messed up. The writing, the signatures on this knife, you know, sort of go off to the side, and then on the Kershaw part as well. If I can get that focused. So yeah, just a really odd piece. This knife originally comes with a sheath, but the blemished model doesn't, so unfortunately it just sort of is the way that it is. And I think that is the 1615 if you're looking for the model number. So that's a cool one. And then down here we have what I call the Franken blur. This is a blur in S30V that I just I got used and did a whole bunch of things to try to make it look a little bit different. And I think I'm actually going to revisit this knife sometime soon, take it apart and try to finish it up and make it look complete. It does have some really cool blue backspacers that I put on there, the standoffs. So the acid etch on is just sort of okay, but yeah. Cool blade overall, still functional. Continuing with some Kershaw mods, here we have the Dimension and the Strobe. So the Dimension is one that is titanium, overseas produced, 8CR13 MOV. Cool knife, and the mods came out really nice, I think, on this one. I really like the colors in contrast with the polishing job that I did. But just really interesting. The button lock, the action on it, just never that good, and I've heard that's sort of the case with most Dimensions, so just interesting to note. And then here we have the Strobe. The Strobe is now discontinued. This one had like these overlays, like a GFN overlay scale. I took those off and did some mods to it, and yeah, it's one of my earlier things and came out pretty cool. A little bit different, but more of an experimental piece, and I keep it in the collection because I don't really know what else to do with it. All right, couple things to go. Here is a very unusual one. This one is called the Beacon. And the Beacon is a knife that I got on eBay. I thought that it was like some real special old discontinued model. And in fact, it is discontinued, but it's really nothing too special. It's a budget knife that was exclusive to some like outdoors stores, I guess, here in the Southeast. But I don't know. I'd never heard of it, so a lot of people haven't. Just a little bit of a unique looking Kershaw that's old and sort of forgotten. So cool to have. I'm going to do some mods on it eventually and sort of bring it back to life, hopefully. I've got a few budget knives right here. I've got the Chill, the Weston, and the Thistle. The Chill is actually going to be making another appearance in a video soon when I do the review for the CRKT LCK, because this one really compares favorably to that. But this is just a good, maybe like a backup kind of knife, a really lightweight EDC. Cool blade here, and then these two are still two of my favorite budget knives. The problem with them is they just don't get any pocket time because I'm always testing new budget knives. So they stay in the collection because they're favorites, but I just don't use them all that often anymore. Only a couple left. We've got the new Fraction in blue G10 with the carbon fiber. Fraction is an excellent knife. I missed having it in my collection, and while I don't love the shade of blue in the G10, it is sort of growing on me. Wish it was a little bit darker. 8CR13 MOV though, Anzo design, flipper on bearings, really good action. So good knife there. Then the last two, we have the Sapphire. This is a Ken Onion design, old discontinued, Japanese made in AUS 8. Really cool titanium, gent carry. Love this piece, really love this piece. And finally, in M390, the Kershaw Dividend. And what I'll say about the Dividend is that if you are not a fan of Speed Safe and you're avoiding this model for that reason, you shouldn't. This is a knife for everybody, man. I love the Dividend in any version, any steel, doesn't matter. It is a good blade. So I would definitely recommend that. But guys, that's what we've got today. That is the first half, I'd say, and then I'll try to squeeze the rest back into the next video. Any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, any of these knives you want to see more of, any suggestions that you have in terms of video ideas, let me know about all that. But I will talk with you soon. Take care and have a good one.